Watch and burn.
Hey everybody! So tonight I would like to discuss Korn's first album from way back in 1994. Now technically this wasn't the first Korn record I heard. The first Korn record I heard was Life is Peachy. That came out in 96. Everybody I knew was freaking out about Korn's new one. So my introduction to this band, was Life is Peachy. But so needless to say that once I picked up Life is Peachy, I decided to backtrack like you always do, and I grabbed this. And I have to say that, I'd never heard anything like Korn. It was just so crushingly heavy, and given how Dave and Fieldy's trade-off between Dave's pedals and Fieldy's bass, and Fieldy's bass has that click, and so I don't know, it added so much extra thump to Silvera's bass drum that it just made Korn's music like earth-shattering. And then considering how it seems like Korn's brand of like nu metal is like it's governed by the foot pedal. It's like every move the rest of Korn's music makes is 100% controlled by Silvera's kick and Fieldy's bass. And that is exactly how their entire sound is anchored. And I'd never heard anything like that. Actually, to this day, I still haven't really heard anything like that. What I've heard a lot of since Korn is a lot of bands ripping off Korn. You know? Like Coal Chamber, for example. Jesus Christ, where would that band's first two records be if it wasn't for Fieldy? But yeah, that's really the only other place I've really heard Korn sound is when other bands attempted to emulate Korn sound, and they were never able to do it quite as well. And this record is brutal, this record is raw, this record is honest, unflinchingly honest, especially considering tracks like Faggot and Daddy are on here. Jonathan Davis is bearing his soul for the world to see, and that is incredibly commendable. Considering that back in the 90s, it wasn't cool for people, especially men, to talk about like things like sexual trauma or just emotional trauma at all. It wasn't exactly something it wasn't in a guy's job description like it is now. And so I think it's really, really commendable for Davis to sort of be ahead of the curve as far as being honest concerning his negative life experiences, because that no doubt has probably helped a lot of his fan base who are dealing with the same sort of thing. So that was amazing too. The music is awesome. Fucking Ball Tongue's on here, Blind's on here, Divine's on here, Fake's on here, Shoots and Ladders, which is like one of Korn's best known songs, I guess. That's on here. I love the artwork. I love how it's got the little girl on the swing, and it's got this sort of scary looking dude who's kind of got lobster claws for hands, his shadow staring down at her. And yeah, that's all. This whole record summed up in two words is childhood trauma. And it's done with such respect and such intelligence and such emotional maturity that it doesn't come off like the guys in Korn are attempting to exploit anything. So yeah, this record is amazing. You should definitely check this record out, but you probably have by now because everybody knows who Korn is. My only complaint is that some of the songs run a little long, and I wish Korn was a little faster. They just had a little more speed to them, because sometimes I do find their songs get bogged down in slowness, as well as the run times go a little long, and I find that detracts from my ability to sort of absorb this as well as I used to when I was younger. But yeah, so look, I'm going to stop talking. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little over 3.5 minutes while I discussed Korn's first album from way back in 1994. And that is their self-titled debut album, Korn. Imagine that. Self-titled debut album's got the name of the band on it. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, like always, don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm going to go. Have a good night.